Hello my friends, today we are going to continue develop our strategy using moving average and some ideas from machine learning. As the most important thing what I would like to say for you, we should think out of the box, because solving trading problem is a very complex task, and we need to have different skills to find some solution. So let's do it and find some ideas how to solve a machine learning problem. So we need to download the data, and using this Jupyter notebook you could run it on your laptop, PC, to test some ideas. Let's see. So we download the data from this class, a data set what we develop, and we use vector VT. Um, Also we use NumPy, pandas, and we start to use scikit-learn. This is library for machine learning, and we need to import train test split. This is a feature for split out data frame to train data and test data or validation data. Also we need some accuracy score, and in this one we solve a classification problem using random forest classifier, and we need to use accuracy score. Also we are going to use matplotlib to find some plot. Okay, let's do it. So this is sticker, we did it before. We did some data frame of Bitcoin ZT, and we do a copy of this data frame. And what is different from the previous video when we solved the moving average problem? So the problem is exit from signal, because your profit also define time or point when you exit from your position. And like entries, we use crossover when we entries into market, but exits would be hold bars. In our case, we should use one bars, because we are going to predict what happens with market after 1 bars. This is a traditional approach for machine learning when we predict some action for next step. Okay, this one we use on the previous is grid to find some grid search of combination moving average. Okay, and for exits we should shift by hold bars. Okay, and when we do some of this shift, we have missed value, and we should fill this value using filter false. Okay, and this one we defined our portfolio, and let's look on exits what happens. And you see we have some boolean value of different columns, and when we have some entries on this position we have true. Okay, let's look on the our columns when we create a multiplier of feature for our data frame, and you see we have some different combination of our data frame. Okay, so and when we did this back testing, and you see we have some stochastic distribution, but sometimes some combination now with shift to profitable, because if we draw this line, the most of combination it would be with positive returns, and we have some shift of this distribution, and some combination of value when we predict what happens on the next step, and we have some very good profits. But what is difference from the previous videos, and hold this, I say that holding position, and when we, for example, use this combination, and it means we hold only 1 bars. In our case we we hold only 1 hours, and many times we do nothing. And in this case we should use some stack of this signal. For example, if we take this draw of a combination, and we should use this. So let's do this one. We did it before to understand what is parameters is the best for us, and for us we see some clusters of good parameters what we should to trade. And you see we have some short period for moving average, and it help us to make some profits. Okay, so let's continue to develop our ideas. And this returns, it's returns of our strategy. For example, like this one, and you see value 0.41, it means 41% of returns. And we need to find all backtesting when expected returns would be more than 0. It means we should split this charts and take only those parameters when we have positive returns, and we should to test it. Okay, when we did it, we create some these best parameters and returns index of these parameters. Let's look at what happens. For example, best parameters, it means all parameters with positive returns. Okay, it's clear. And next we need to run our loop and create a signal using the best parameters. These best parameters is some indexes of this list, and we do some loop and indicator. For example, let's do it again. For example, take some times. So we iterate best parameters. Let's look on the iterator. I would like to show you. And you see this is iterator. When we have fast moving average and slow moving average, and we need do this back testing. We create fast and slow, and we create entries, and we create new columns with these entries. Also we do some stacking of this signal. It's a very useful feature for us, and it's very important for me. For example, if we have the signal, we identify like this true. If not, we identify like this data signal, and we create a stack of the signal. And next one, when we did this stack, and we use value counts to calculate a percent change of false and true, and you see we have 42% when we has some signal. Okay, but in half of all data frame we do not. Okay, so let's do. And next I did some description for you. For example, solving a trading problem using stacking signal. We did it here. We create stack of these all signals with positive distribution of these returns. Let's find what happens for this. I remember we hold position only 1 hour. Okay, let's do this stacking, and we do this back test, and you see we have very good strategy with some smooth line of profit, and we solve this trading problem using stacking signal. This is some tricks for you, and you could use it for this strategy or another strategy. I like this approach. Okay, the second way, it's solving problem using machine learning. This is a very big topic for us, and we started to use it. And I'm trying to explain more information about because we have multiply approach. For example, I saw, for example, if a data scientist has some multiply experience on data science, but if he hasn't any experience on trading, in general, those guys couldn't solve trading problem. we need to combine skills between trading and machine learning, and this way we could do this combination and find some synergy effect of these skills and use machine learning some unusual way to solve trading problem. Let's look in how to use it. This is a traditional approach. We use a train test split. We identify our columns, what we create. Let's look on this columns. What is the columns? Okay, and you see we have a multiply of columns. It's more than 100 features, and we import these columns and create this pandas subset of pandas data frame, and what we predict in the next step. And we use a test size like 20% for test size, and we indicate that shuffle should be false. Okay, so let's create random forest classifier. It's very simple model without any tuning. I would like to show you what is way to solve a trading problem. For example, if we predict test data, and you see we have some 50% of accuracy is random, but we could find something useful for us, how we could improve our strategy using this information. For example, using a random forest, we could find all combination which has some predictable power. It's very interesting information. For data science, it's called like a stacking model, when we take information from one machine learning problem and use information for another machine learning problem or deep learning problem, and using this stack approach we could find some very good results for us. So let's look in. This is an important feature. All feature what has a predictable power for us, and you see we define those clusters because using our eye we could define this cluster, because I see that head map these clusters we have, and using random forest we defined this cluster with moving average with short period, and you see we have multiply of this feature, and if you have some long period this information index is decrease, and we could cut this information. Maybe it's not important for us, and we should concentrate our attention only on this moving average parameters. And let's do what happens. So let's create 10 some top moving average parameters, and you could change these parameters and play with it to find a solution what you like. In this case we take the best 100 moving average parameters and find some this back testing. So we do sort value by importance columns, because we create pandas data frame when importance would be data from our random forest classifier model, and index would be our feature. Okay, so we do this sorting value and take the best 100 parameters. Okay, so the next we take our test data and we defined and we do also stacking signal what we did before. So I do some loop of this top MA indexes. It's all the best parameters for us. And let's look in. I would like to show you. We iterate this data, and you see we have these parameters, and we indicate these parameters for signal, and we do some stacking and I print value counts of signal, and you see we have 61% when we do nothing and only 38% when we should trade. Okay, let's do, and I remember for you we need check it's working or not. We need to test that these moving average parameters should has some predictable power. Okay, so let's do it. We define our back test and we use our subset of pandas data frame. This test indicate price of Bitcoin, we indicate our signal and exit. And exit, I remembered for you, we hold position only 1 bar. Okay, I'm expecting to see some profitable strategy. It means some parameters of moving average has some predictable power. It's very important for us to develop in the future this strategy using machine learning. Okay, let's look at. Yes, and you see we have some profitable strategy, and it means as for tested data, it really some parameters of moving average has predictable power. So guys, you could use this repeater notebook for you. It's very easy. You only need to run it on multiply of another coin, and you could change some time series for 5 minutes or 1 day, depends of your style of trading. Some guys is a long trade, it means a long-term investor. Some guys do day trading, and we could use it if you find some interesting ideas or interesting combination for another coin. Please make a comment of my YouTube video. It helped me to find some ideas and develop also my strategy, and I will share this strategy with you, and let's commit these ideas for GitHub, and you could download this one. Now let's do it. Commit stage, for example, would be random forest and moving average MA. Okay, let's do it and push. Okay guys, if you like this video, subscribe my YouTube channel, and see you next time. Bye.